All right. Loners, we're back again. Thanks for coming back and watching some more vids from, yours truly over here. We're glad to be back.
It's our Independence Day today.
Yeah. It's 4th of July right here in America right now.
So if you hear any fireworks or people shooting some guns out, you know what it is.
Pew, pew,
it's
pew.
America.
Yep.
Kids whining.
Before we go on.
Birth control is not accessible to everybody. Sorry.
So, all right. Before we go on, welcome to episode number 90. Number 90. Roll that intro. All right. Any other words you'd like to say about our nation's independence?
There's a lot I would like to say. But nobody who watches us is from here. Actually, there's just a select few.
Yeah, there's some.
And they usually will come to tell us how selfish and
ungrateful we are. Ungrateful, yeah. Whatever. We're not saying we hate anything or America. We point out our opinion of what we think could be better and what the differences are. But yeah, okay. So today we're going to take a look at one of America's $400 billion dystopian areas, and it's called Tolosa. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah. I mean, billion is crazy to me in any shape or form.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So the fact that they spent $400 billion in Tolosa's, what state are we in? What state is that?
I saw in the description a little bit. It's in Arizona, but let's watch the video and look
Arizona?
Into it more. All right.
All places.
Let's begin.
Phoenix, Arizona is a monument to man's arrogance. It's a city of 5 million that should not exist. An endless sea of concrete, asphalt and single-family homes in the desert, briefly interrupted by a small group of skyscrapers. Temperatures during summer normally reach above 40 degrees Celsius with 330 days of sunshine each year. Despite the dry, hellish desert climate, the lawns are lush and green, nearly every house has a swimming pool, and the city is dotted with large, verdant golf courses. All this in the wake of a historic drought and accelerating climate change. Phoenix has been called the least sustainable city in the world, for good reason.
I'm guessing he's talking about Phoenix. Maybe Tolosa is like a little area within Phoenix, but
I don't know. My stepmom, her sister, has lived out there for as long as I can remember. And every time we used to go there as kids, it was miserably hot. It's like hot and dry.
Yeah.
Crust.
I think specifically that area in Phoenix or in Arizona, because when we drove through Arizona. Oh, by the way, guys,
they live in Phoenix.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the other parts of Arizona seem very different.
Yeah,
but
we're talking about Phoenix right now.
Just want to say, guys, also sorry to plug this in there, but if you haven't, go check out the vlog channel, because on the vlog channel we have where we lived in a van for like 2 weeks. We lived in a van for like 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, and part of it is through Arizona. So, if you want to just go check that out, All right.
A lot of trials and tribulations.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. You should definitely go check that out. But yeah, all right, let's continue.
That was fun.
Climate change plus 5 million strong desert cities do not go well together, to put it mildly. And what's this? Uh-oh.
At Tolosa, we're on a mission to create a more equitable and sustainable future. By starting with a clean slate, we have this really unique opportunity to focus on what's most important. We're not just building a new city. This is a new model for society.
We will create a 15-minute city that promotes active and sustainable modes of transportation, mixed-use districts that ensure all daily needs are within a 5-minute walk from your house.
We're going to create efficient buildings.
I'm sorry, this sounds great, but of all the places that you could do it, why? I guess maybe it's the cheapest to build it there.
Right, but clearly not. It's $400 billion.
Yeah, but imagine how much this would cost to try to build this in LA.
But it shouldn't. I'm not saying LA. Like, suburban area is fine.
Yeah.
But, like, it should not cost that much anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
And how big is it? That's what I want to know.
Well, she said that everything's like it's a 15-minute radius.
Right, but how big is the perimeter of the whole
I don't know.
Project?
Someone who can do some maths better than me can figure it out. All right.
Have a diverse source of renewable energy supply to generate more.
She said everything you could need. It
Was
doesn't mean that you could walk around the entire thing.
They said a 15-minute perimeter.
Got it. I didn't hear that.
Anything you would need would be a 5-minute walk.
Heard. Sorry, we keep pausing.
More energy than we consume. The same thing with water. generating enough water to supply the future of Tolosa and potentially even other communities through efficiency, recycling, and technology.
We'll start with 50,000 people, a really diverse group, and from that seed, grow into this incredible city of 5 million people.
Tolosa will be the city that loves you, actively listens to you. Doesn't matter.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of Black Mirror right now with this. This is like they're getting ready. They're prepping for when the rest of the world goes, or the United States goes into like a civil war, and they're just gonna move these people.
Yeah, but how many people can
They said they're gonna start with 50,000 people.
but that doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. All right, let's continue. Sorry.
Can that fit 50,000 people?
I mean, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm sure they made it for that.
I wonder how many it could fit max. This gives me like, like Silicon Valley type work environments.
Yeah.
I feel like this is if they were to build their own community.
It probably is what it is. All right, let's see.
Who you are. We want to see you. We want for you to experience Tolosa, for you to be a part of it.
What the hell is happening right now?
A sustainable desert city, envisioned and spearheaded by Joe Rogan's secret brother, former Walmart CEO and billionaire Mark Lohr. So what is wrong with this project? What is wrong with building a 5 million inhabitant techno fever dream city in the middle of the desert? I like how they already have shiny CGI of the whole thing, but they don't yet know where the city will be even. Detailed plans and visualizations usually come after you've secured the location, completed surveys, geodetic studies, and so on. Anyway, so Tolosa would start with 50,000 inhabitants and then gradually grow to 5 million. And my first question is...
No way.
Damn.
What's the entrance fee? Microchipping your brain?
Why? Why would anyone want to live there in the middle of nowhere? Even an accursed place like Phoenix had a reason to exist originally. The land was arable and local farms could sell their produce to a nearby mining town. Tolosa is not being built for any practical reason. It's not like they found a great place somewhere in the US and said, wow, this would be a good place for a sustainable city. No, instead a billionaire decided he wants a sustainable city, then started looking for a place to put it in the desert. The good thing about building a giant city in a remote desert is that land is cheap. The bad thing about building a giant city in a remote desert is that you're building a giant city in a remote desert. In order to sustain a 5 million city, you need a lot of water. And I mean a lot. Where would you get it from? Even if you find a location with a water source, slapping a 5 million city on top of it would absolutely destroy it by sucking everything dry. And water reclamation alone isn't enough to solve this. Water is constantly evaporating and you have to keep replacing it. That replacement usually occurs naturally via rain, but not in the desert, obviously. You would need to find a place with ample water, but chances are land won't be cheap there, because it is likely being used by others. We already have enough problems with NIMBYs when trying to build a rail line, let's say. All the lawsuits, delays, protests, obstructionism, enough to turn planners' hair grey. Now imagine trying to build a city of 5 million there. Humanity would go extinct before you would even get through the first round of lawsuits. In the empty desert, you don't have such issues, but you would need to pipe in water from somewhere else, which means costly and complex pipes and pump infrastructure spanning potentially hundreds of kilometers. So yeah. Now let's talk about how Tolosa could be powered. And oh my god, did they seriously put windmills in the middle of the city? These might look nice and futuristic if you know nothing about windmills, but they produce noise that would drive people mad over time, vibration.
Wouldn't they use solar panels for this?
I would think so.
That would damage surrounding buildings, not to mention, cities tend to have erratic wind patterns for a variety of reasons. Putting windmills in the middle of your city is the equivalent of putting your solar panels in the living room by the window instead of your roof. Otherwise, they plan on supplying the entire city with renewables, as advertised by this page from their website, which might actually break the world record for number of buzzwords per line. Distributed, flexible and expendable carbon-neutral energy system, redundant neighborhood microgrids, reliable and resilient energy, and I mean, that's great, but you also need to store surpluses so you can use them during shortages. In the real world, energy storage is most often done by pumped hydro storage, the most efficient and eco-friendly way by far. You basically have two reservoirs at different elevations, where you use surplus energy to pump the water to the upper reservoir, while during shortages, you let the water down through a turbine, gaining back electricity when needed. Needless to say, there is no mention of any such solutions from Tolosa. It's just multiple storage technologies, which is the equivalent of...
Well, they're just giving the sugar-coated thing at first right now. They're just like giving the idea of something, but they're not giving the detail of it.
This is giving like Fire Festival, but on like a grand scheme.
Where people are gonna live.
And this is the type of thing that when it doesn't work, the government will just bail him out.
Yeah, of course.
Because
definitely.
he was a CEO of Walmart.
I would think too that they're going to pay the first 50,000 people to live there. I bet you.
I don't think so. I think that they'll let them stay there for free if they contribute, like a commune
like a
almost.
cult.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, we'll have like stuff to store the energy in, lol. Very promising. Another aspect of this project is sociological. Who will buy apartments in the high-tech desert city of the future? Well, if every single one of their promotional pictures are a clue, it's the urban upper middle class. This is despite all their claims of inclusivity and equality. People living in impoverished areas usually can't even afford to move within their own city, much less to a brand new, shiny future city in the desert.
Yeah.
So even if Telosa was feasible at all, it would quickly become a sort of eco-apartheid city-state for the affluent, leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. Case in point, about that world-class education they promise, where every student has access to the best teachers and resources. How? How will you organize and finance this?
Fly in every teacher from all parts of the world, the best teachers.
I don't know. This seems weird. This is interesting.
Also, if you want to get the best teachers, for a 5 million city you would need about 50,000. That means
Damn.
50,000 good teachers subtracted from the US education system for the sake of your desert Hunger Games capital. And this applies
And the U.S. education system is already lacking teachers a lot right now because they're not paying them what they're
pay them
worth.
shit.
Yeah.
to all other essential services. It's like when the Egyptian dictator decided to build a new capital city in the desert for the Egyptian upper classes. He can build Egypt's largest and most advanced hospital there with the best doctors, but those doctors are then subtracted from the Egyptian healthcare system. So a rich Egyptian will be able to quickly have their tennis ankle treated, while a regular Egyptian will have to wait 6 months for a vital surgery to be performed in a rundown hospital by overworked doctors with obsolete equipment. We also need to talk about another aspect of Telosa: transportation. So, is Telosa going to have an efficient, environmentally friendly public transit system? Well, an architect firm is designing road, air, and hyperloop-capable autonomous pods for Telosa. I'm about to have a stroke. According to their vision, these would be pods to which you can attach road wheels or rotors, thereby being able to function as a self-driving car, a hyperloop pod, and a helicopter, and as a cable car. Now, I've already made videos about why autonomous cars and the hyperloop are terrible ideas. You can go check those out for an in-depth look.
Well, I bet you anything Elon Musk is like in talks with the Walmart CEO to help out with this.
I don't think so. I don't think even he's that dumb.
You don't think he'd want Tesla to be the ones like designing stuff?
Yeah, but is he gonna fork out money for this project? I don't know.
He probably will if he sees it's going well within like the first year or something.
Yeah, I don't think he would help start it up.
Yeah.
But so this one is powered like a drone is pretty much hovering over it.
Because it said it could be a helicopter, a car, or a train.
Is this like a monorail or like a it's almost like that ski lift type thing, whatever it's called?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. That part.
It's not a bad idea.
It's expensive, but this little hovercraft, I don't know about that.
People are gonna die.
Yeah.
As for the helicopter idea, this is flying cars all over again. Think of how loud the average drone is. Now make the drone 30 times bigger. Yeah,
that is
not
true.
to mention the risk of crashes. Also,
if you have this type of technology, why don't you just hone in and focus on that instead of
the whole
creating this whole fucking world?
I don't know.
That has something that hasn't even been on the market yet.
This to me just seems like they know something's gonna happen and they're trying to like prepare.
I don't think so, because I don't think the desert or like Phoenix is like the prime spot they're gonna want to.
It's the cheapest spot.
Run away to. I don't think it would be this many people.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know shit, to be honest.
on the renders, there doesn't seem to be an engine or a battery. It's just a CG ski lift cabin with 4 chrome propellers.
This is giving the Titan submersive.
Oh God.
But for the air.
You might notice that all of Telosa's transit solutions are individual. There is no proper mass transit, only small pods carrying a handful of people. And that kind of transit is fundamentally unsustainable. Think of US traffic jams and the pollution they cause, the space they take up inside cities, and so on. And I'm glad they have 15-minute walkable neighborhoods, but that's about the only sound idea of this project. All in all, Telosa is a great example as to why billionaires shouldn't be allowed to design our cities. They are victims.
Agreed. Also, if they're saying you could walk in 15 minutes anywhere, why even have vehicles and stuff?
Because people are still going to always want to get to somewhere faster than it would take to walk.
15 minutes is literally nothing.
I know.
That's like a dog walk. I don't believe you can walk anywhere in 15 minutes. Like, look how big that is. There's no way.
Maybe maybe she meant like drive or
Yeah, that I can see, but I
maybe.
think maybe he misheard too.
Of a phenomenon called elite projection, a term coined by transit planner Jarrett Walker. Elite projection is the belief among relatively fortunate and influential people that what those people find convenient or attractive is good for society as a whole. Billionaires are
Wow,
used to
that's
living
very-
in remote, high
that's a really
What's
good
that?
observation
That Bo Burnham song, the one,
from his special.
yeah, he pretty much says like, yeah,
Jeffrey.
yeah. Anyway,
Jeffrey
not that
Bezos.
one. But he mentions how
That is actually
Yeah,
it's a
like-
good point. I think this happens a lot.
no, yeah, they can't fathom. They're not relatable. They're not grounded. They can't see the same
From the same point of view.
experience, as you can. It's just so funny. And then they make these decisions like it's gonna just be so beneficial
For
but
everyone.
it's like no, for you it is.
Yeah.
class affluent areas, so naturally it would be good for everyone. They have access to the best possible healthcare and education, so everyone else in their utopia should. Damn the consequences for the rest of society. They've never set foot on public transportation, so naturally individual pods are the way to go, and so on. In its current form, Telosa has a ton of problems. So how do we fix them? Easy. If Mark Lohr wants to create sustainable places to live in the US, he should start somewhere else. Places where lots of people want to live and where there is plenty of space to build, namely the downtowns of most American cities. Pictured here is the center of Detroit, where most space is occupied not by buildings, but by urban freeways and surface parking lots. Why not lobby for zoning law changes and help densify the area with sustainable housing? Or if you find downtown land prices too high, I have good news for you. Just outside the center, there is a plethora of cheap, rundown, half-abandoned single-family home areas just waiting to be bought and redeveloped. Just imagine what you could do there with some eco-friendly mid-rise housing. And Detroit doesn't have a drought problem either. Why insist on a desert city in the middle of nowhere? Why not just fix existing US cities instead? Actually, I know exactly why.
Yeah, Detroit doesn't have a drought problem, but Flint is still
Yeah.
Flint, Michigan. Their water is still
so
not
dirty.
good. Yeah.
Also, wouldn't that be considered like a form of gentrifying if he like tears down old buildings or areas that are kind of dead and is trying to build a whole community there? Isn't it going to cause like other things?
Displacement of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree
Not
with
that
that.
that's why he wouldn't do that. I'm pretty
No.
sure he doesn't give two fucks. But
It would be
probably
more
just
expensive.
seems. It probably seems easier for people to
Go somewhere
to
that's
go
nothing.
like to seek out something that's what they want instead of
rebuilding.
them
something.
just planting it somewhere.
So I always wonder this too, like if there's a solution to actually make places better without sacrificing gentrification and without sacrificing like displacing families and making costs of everything go up more.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't a lot of that come out of the tax dollars of the people around like those areas anyway?
I would think so, but then what causes if it gains popularity, then there's the demand that the landlords and other people can raise the rent and raise the mortgages because people want to go to that area more. So that's I think what causes people to get pushed out.
Right. Which I understand, but I'm saying isn't it coming out of their pockets in one way or another to build these things? Like I don't know, homeboy is like, here's $400 billion. Like, where's he getting this money? I know he's a billionaire, but I don't think
Private investors probably. Because if it's through private investors, I think then it doesn't come out of tax dollars. I'm not 100% sure, but I think publicly funded projects of the city do, but they take way longer than private funded.
Okay, then would private projects cause like gentrification?
Down the line when things get more expensive because it becomes more popular.
Yeah.
You see, around the time I made my video about NEOM, the Saudi Line City bullshit project, one of its hired consultants reached out to me. We had a conversation where he explained the true extent of the idiocy behind the scenes. Obviously, I cannot share his name, picture, or even recorded voice for fear of prison or execution, but I will summarize what he told me. Basically, these projects begin with a billionaire dictator having a stupid, megalomaniac idea. They then hire consultants from a consultancy firm to visualize said idea. Basically to create a metric ton of CGI. Then comes the private presentation, where you have 5 minutes to sell your proposal to them, as these people have very short attention spans. On the other hand, they are very easily bamboozled by shiny CGI and wild tech ideas, so if you cram your 5 minutes full of those, they will listen and likely approve your proposals. Don't even try to get into the details of the project, as in feasibility, infrastructure planning, sociological surveys, and so on, because they will fall asleep. They don't care. They just want to see something shiny and bombastic to bamboozle them and boost their ego. This is how you get NEOM in the Saudi desert, Dubai in the Emirates.
That's how you know you have too much money. Is if you
Well,
don't
these are the people
care-
building everything.
I know. It's
Yeah.
if you don't care about any logistics, and like if you don't genuinely want to understand how it's
gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're fine pretty much just losing that money if shit does hit the fan.
Especially if it's
That's so
most of the time it's not
wild.
even that person's money. It's investors' money.
No, but I think that's what they're
They're showing it to the investors.
I
Got it,
think.
got
I
it,
could
yeah.
be wrong.
No, I
I
The
think
don't know.
desert, the new administrative capital in the Egyptian desert, and now Telosa in the American desert. They are all different, yet they're all the same. Mark Lord tries to ape Middle Eastern dictators to bring about the utopia he thinks is best for you. However, he will likely not succeed, because, as we all know by now, smooth brain dictator plus construction project equals dumb shit. So, this was Telosa, the Desert Hunger Games capital, or I guess in this case Thirst Games, and I thank you for watching. If you wish to support me making content like this, please consider subscribing to my Patreon, and I'll be seeing you next time.
Cool.
I don't care how amazing any type of utopia type land you're trying to sell me. All you have to say is it's in the desert for me to say no. Period. Because once you're outside, it's just like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to,
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk somewhere every day
You know,
in that heat.
yeah.
Fuck no.
You know what would be really cool? I know it's not going to happen, but going to and not hurting the area, but if we created some type of utopia in the jungles or in the forest, in the forest.
Unless you're living in tree houses
No,
or something.
exactly. That's what I was going to say. So you
But
you build the housing from natural trees that will regrow. You don't break them down, but you build it off of stuff. And then you have the water supply filtered and you have all this stuff, but you're not actually destroying. You're just utilizing the.
You would get tore up from a damn cougar or jaguar so quickly in the jungle.
It's just a fantasy. It'd be cool to live like that.
Yeah, if hypothetically there were no dangerous animals out there.
Yeah, I know, because back in the day, that's a lot of, cavemen and shit. They died all the time from that.
I mean, yeah, I was there. I totally saw it.
But yeah, that was an interesting episode. I like the guy who his name is Adam something. I'll put the original in the description. But he's interesting. He has a sense of humor too, which is good. But yeah,
It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. This is a weird, outlandish idea that, of course, a billionaire has, and they're just let's just make it happen.
Yeah, he seems a little bored.
But yeah, if you liked, like and subscribe, guys, and please jump over to the vlog channel and like and subscribe and follow along. All right,
Guys, we just hit 500. So
oh yeah,
thank you to those 500 people the most, because you guys are real ones.
that's right. And
You care.
and you right now that are gonna go jump over and follow too.
And subscribe.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for everything. Hope you have a good one. Yeah, see you next time.
Thank you guys.